How do you feel? Alright. We didn't think this through very much.
Huh?
We didn't think this through too much.
Yeah, we did.
This is a great idea.
It's working as we planned it.
How not to pull an engine.
It.
Huh?
This is even tilting it how we were supposed to.
Uh-huh. Keep jacking.
See, if we can just jack it sideways, like turn it clockwise, we got this.
So.
Alright. Motor's out. All we have to do is lift like a son of a bitch.
As long as they
Nope.
get
I was hoping I didn't put a hole in your floor. Nope, just a little dead. But I did bend the shit out of that.
Oh, that's fine, that's coming out.
That kid over there, when working on that truck, acts like he knows how to weld. He's a bitch. You don't know shit. Thinks this thing's gonna be cool. It might be cool, but it's gonna suck. Realistically, it's gonna suck the gas. Oh, I should say diesel. He'll get mad if I call it gas. That kid right there, he's the head man of taking out the engine. That thing was a bitch. Some tells me we just want to kick it in the shin, but it doesn't have shins.
I feel like someone's still holding it, but...
Something is. Fuck me, right? In the fucking foot.
Not on this side.
Yeah!
Oh, he's almost off! Boobies.
Dude, think if it sat this slow. This is where it's gonna sit.
Serious?
Hopefully.
Holy shit! Hop right up over to the top and you're
It's gonna be,
seat.
yeah, it's gonna be close to that.
Dukes of Hazzard shit.
So now I'm working on stripping this frame down. Because I'm gonna add all new components, I need to strip this frame down to basically nothing, including all the leaf springs, axle, steering, all that stuff. And then once it's all stripped down, I can start measuring out and getting ready to put in my 4-link setups. And then I'll either get it sandblasted or grind down the spots that I need to weld to, which is pretty much, I'm gonna box in the whole frame, and then I'm also going to add reinforcing angles in here. So it's going to be quite a bit of welding and grinding, but it's got to be strong. Got tons of these rivets to pop out. I got these ones out now, but all these rivets are really a pain in the butt. They got to come out though, and then we'll kind of take it from there. Thing's heavy and awkward. There's that. So right now I'm working on step notching, otherwise known as Z-ing my frame. So I got this set up, I got it jigged up so that when I do end up cutting this frame where I'm going to cut it and Z-ing it, that the back is already at the height it needs to be. And then what I'm going to do is actually drop this part of the frame down onto the floor so there's an inch clearance. That's what I planned for, have an inch clearance down here. So I'll also cut it up here because I'm going to do a Z in front and a Z in back. This essentially gives you the body drop feel without actually cutting into your body in the front. In the back I'll have to, just because I'm doing kind of an extreme notch or an extreme Z. But this allows me to get it lower while keeping the motor still up off the ground. So right here I'm going to do a notch or a Z that's 9 inches tall. Dropping that 9 inches. And then back here I'm doing it 10. Which will in turn drop this right here 10 inches. So I got to reinforce so I can't move fore and aft when I end up cutting it. See, just from here to here I got a couple tacks. I got these holding it up at the right level on the floor. Then here's my plate steel, or my channel that I had formed. I had it formed so it fits directly over my frame where I'm going to channel it. Like so. So now I got it all laid out here. Because there's two sides, I have to do different pairs so I can get the same, or the most amount of material out of this as possible. So you can see I labeled them. Got my 45-degree cuts there and my length that I need. So this is the 9 inches that I'm going to Z it right in here. 9 inches here also. And you just do basically the opposite on this one. So you get this one labeled BAB. And then that allows you to sort of build your notch so that it's the same, facing all the same direction. Alright, so now that I got these pieces cut to what I need them to be, I'm actually using a square to make sure that this is perfectly 90 degrees in each corner here. So the first one I just put around the outside here and then adjusted and tacked to fit. And then the second one here, since my cuts were a little goofy on this one, I'm actually going to have to go through and grind a little bit out where it's touching. You can see that the square is showing that it's square where it's sitting, right? But this gap down here is a little bit bigger than I'd like. So if I can get rid of a little bit of this, it'll in turn slide all of this back down. Also, if you look in here, anywhere it's touching, it needs a little bit taken out. So once I can do that, I can slide it closer together. You can see that the gap on that one's a little bit better. You're going to want a little gap so you get some penetration, but you don't want too much to where you have to fill it all in with weld. This is probably close to the point where I could just leave it, but I'm a perfectionist, so I want to make it as best I can here. Got this other one done. Looks pretty good. Alright, so for Z notches, I decided to make it a little bit difficult on myself and have this notch in the middle of an arch, or in the middle of an angle here. If you see, this was angled up 24 degrees and then up here. In order to kind of calculate what I need to do, it's just a bunch of geometry with angles and all that. I did that first to kind of check and see approximately what I needed to be. And then I kind of laid that on some cardboard here. This for me is a 33-degree angle. So I could have this straight up and down. This is easier to calculate the straight up and down drop than it is if this were to be at an angle. So I did a straight up and down, or pretty straight up and down, because it'll tell me exactly how much drop I'm getting from here to here. So a cardboard template works nice. Get it rough in with the numbers on the paper. You can look all this up online as far as how to calculate with these angles, and it's just basic trigonometry stuff. So once I got this cardboard laid out, then I kind of transferred it roughly over to this. I use my calculated numbers to do the measurements on here. because these aren't really that accurate, but the calculated numbers are. Basically, I just did the cardboard temper to make sure that my measurements and stuff are accurate, because I wasn't really sure, just because the math was really complicated. But this will turn out pretty nice. It's going to give me a 10-inch frame drop in the back. And the reason why I decided to have it up here instead of up here is if I do it back here and chop it up, then I'm cutting into more of my floor. On the inside there, you can see that I'd have to channel out more of my floor. This method brings it back closer to the axle, so I'm not losing as much space. Basically, in a nutshell. So now I'm just going to cut these out, get them tacked up, make sure they're all square and at the angles they need to be, and then start bolting them and tacking to this. So if you look right here, these are really kind of a short overhang, right? Compared to up in here where I have 8 inches or more of overhang, if you can see that there. The reason that is because right here you can see that the frame starts coming back this way. So I'm actually going to have to take my scrap piece and I'm actually going to have to slowly form in and continue to weld onto this, onto the angle that I'm going to have here, or the channel. So I'm going to have to kind of shape it to fit this tighter. Same with up here. So right here I only have about 4 inches overhang because that's where it's the straight section in the frame, or the straight continuous angle. So this is going to be a lot more work, but it's in the end product's going to save me a lot more space inside, and I want to be able to have a back seat if possible. So that's going to help out tremendously. So now if you look here, you can see that I got the frame spaced up 1 inch because I want the frame to be 1 inch off the ground when I'm doing this mock-up. Just so I can keep it all square and make sure it's all the same. I got blocks in each corner. And what I'm doing now is I got my notches on there and I got them all clamped up so they're centered on there nicely. You can see I intentionally left a little gap here just so I had more play, because I wasn't sure exactly where the notches were going to fit perfect. But this gap is actually good because it allows me to get more penetration in here. So I'll do a double pass. I'll do the first pass deep inside here, and then I'll do a second pass as an overlay. That'll give me twice the weld and twice the power of the penetration. So now that I got all this kind of clamped up, I welded it all up. Or not all of it, I guess I should say, but I welded the 4 corners here, here, and then on the inside. Got the 4 corners so that the Z can't move when I'm actually going to drill out the holes. So now that I got this kind of tacked up, solid, strong, and still leaving the clamps on, I'm going to actually take a drill bit, and there are some original holes here that actually lined up quite nicely. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start the drilling on my on my Z's. I'm going to start the drilling so that I get all the holes drilled where they need to be on each side, and then I'll take these off, cut off the tacks that I got on the frame here, take these off and bring them over to the drill press over there, and continue to drill out the 1/2 inch holes that I'm going to use. Because this is a Z and it's going to be supporting a lot of weight, I'm going to run 10 grade 5 or grade 8 1/2 inch bolts on each one of these, and I'm also going to weld it solid all the way around, and then I'm going to box the hell out of it. I'm going to do a lot of stuff to this. It's better to do it overkill and be safe than to have something break, because then you got to start all over again. So I'll do it right the first time and it'll turn out. So now that I got all these holes drilled and countersunk, I just took some basic primer and got the surfaces that are going to be sandwiched in between primered. That way, when I do sandwich them between and I bolt them up, they can permanently be like that. This is actually a rusty metal primer on here. It stops the rust. You can see there's a little bit of surface rust, but I put that rusty metal primer on there, and then it's good to go. Make sure you do this, otherwise it can rust from the inside out. So this is just a preventative step that comes with experience. Make sure you paint it. Now it's time to bolt it up. Start welding. Day 16, about 5-6 hours. So I'm probably at about 120 hours now. Got this frame notch bolted in, and I started welding it to the frame here. Got the other one yet to do. Lots of boxing and reinforcing. She's coming along. Yeehaw.